Hey guys, what's going on? It's If You Have to Pick 3. I'm Matt.
And I'm Zack.
If you haven't joined us for this show before, we each pick our top 3 in a particular category, and then we battle it out, and we see who gets more in the final top 3 list.
It gets violent.
It does.
And I'm still waiting for that apology.
You're not going to get one.
Well,
you still owe me a couch.
and you still owe me a finger.
That's a little bit harder to get.
Well,
We're still waiting for the insurance to come back.
Well, that's what you keep saying. But anyway,
we still decide to do this show, and this time, you know what, Zach? Why don't you tell them what we're doing this time?
I will. Thanks, Matt.
All right.
Yeah. So it's inevitable. Your favorite musician is going to stop touring or even recording music. I know. It's sad. I mean, in this year alone, we're seeing Slayer say goodbye, which even 2 years ago would have never seemed possible. Elton John's on the never-ending farewell tour. Ozzy Osbourne's supposedly saying farewell. We'll see if that actually happens. But it's inevitable that an artist is going to say, you know what, it's time for me to call it a day. And in some cases, it's needed. However, there are definitely some artists that you just, maybe before you go to bed, you just kind of pray, please, Lord, do not let this artist or musician stop touring. So today we're going to do, if you have to pick 3 episode on the artists that we never want to see retire, the artists that we hope hold it out for the long run, and that when the day comes that they do announce that they retire, you'll find one of us crying in the corner because we're not ready for it.
Yeah. So let me go first this time.
Fine, Matt.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going first.
We actually are friends.
You would never know.
You would never know.
All right, so number 1 for me, obviously for very selfish reasons, we're going with Metallica.
I had a feeling that they were going to come up, but go ahead.
Yeah, they have to, at least on my list. I mean, these guys are one of my favorites. They've essentially been playing and have been releasing albums for my entire life, and just different aspects of my life. I can remember doing certain things, and that this album came out at this time, and I know what I was doing. I remember where I was, and seeing them live, having some stories about seeing them live, and some interesting trips getting there to go see them live. Broken beer bottles on the LIRR to get out to the Nassau Coliseum to see these guys. Yeah, some real interesting times. But Metallica is number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, not a band, but an individual. Mm-hmm. This individual is one of the figureheads of rock and roll and maybe metal, depending on who you ask. But I mean, he's waving the flag for rock and roll left and right. He's the guy right now, Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
If he retires, there's going to be a lot that's lost. It's not just the Foo Fighters, but it's every other thing that he's done. It's the movies. It's the drumming on like Queens of the Stone Age albums and 9 Inch Nails. It's obviously, like I said, the Foo Fighters, but Dave Grohl right now is the poster child for if you want to do rock, this is how you do rock.
Number 2. That's number 2.
Number 2.
3.
Number 3. All right. So I got a list of a couple of other people. All right. We're gonna go with these guys. They've been around for a very long time. They've been around since the mid-90s, and they're just one of those metal bands that are out there right now. They're still not the largest band in the world by any stretch of the imagination. They're just that solid metal band that and you might take them for granted, like we talked about in prior episodes, that like Zack mentioned that he took Chris Cornell for granted, being just always around and performing and just never really going out to see him because I'll go see them next time.
Yeah. For
me, that band is Seven Dust. And when they retire, or if they retire, that I'm going to be like, you know what? I should have gone to see them. I should have gone to, gone out to a couple of other shows because I know that they're always going to come around again. They're always going to be releasing a new album. They're always going to be on tour. They're just always that metal band that you're like, I wonder if they're doing something. Oh, look, they're doing a new album. Oh, look, they're coming back around again. And I really feel like, for me, I'm I'm gonna be sad to see them go because they did play a huge part in me getting into metal a little bit more than I have been in the past, and they've always just released solid material.
Interesting. All right, my turn. Number 1, selfish reason. Alice Cooper.
Well, if I didn't see that coming a mile away.
I think everyone, if you know me, you know I love Alice Cooper. He was my first concert at 7 years old. Ever since I saw him on the Muppets, I just was in love. A human Muppet in real life. It's amazing because he's always on tour still. He's constantly touring and performing his ass off. He always has a great group of musicians with him. And just, to see him not be performing will just be sad to me personally. But I just think the world is in a better place with Alice Cooper, the ultimate rock and roll villain. And it's just going to make me sad. And even he said that he's never going to have intentions of retiring. But when that day comes, it's going to sting a little bit, but for me personally at least. The second one, kind of similar, but I think more people would even agree that it's going to be a rough day when this rock and roll legend decides to stop touring, because he's always on the road, whether it's with solo things or with the big clue, E Street Band. You can always rely on seeing Bruce Springsteen on the road performing or even popping up in Asbury Park. In fact, a little sidetrack story here. I have always dreamed about at least being in the same. I've seen Bruce live. I've seen him perform huge stadiums, but I've always had the dream of at least being in the same room as Bruce in Asbury Park, whether it's him joining a band at the Stone Pony for a song, or even just like somehow being like close to him in Asbury Park, because Bruce has a tendency of just popping up in Asbury Park and playing with a band that's his friend for a song. He recently did it with Southside Johnny and the Asbury Dukes during their show at the Stone Pony Summer Stage. He's done it with Social Distortion a few times. And for the past 5 years, I feel like I've always been in the wrong place. So one year, me and my wife went to see a musician play the Summer Stage at Stone Pony. Great show. And then as we leave, we find out literally next door at the Wonder Bar in Asbury Park, Bruce decided to join his friend playing there. And we're like, of course, it's too late. We missed it, of course. And then recently, so that was a few years ago, and recently we were at the Wonder Bar seeing a musician that we really like, when suddenly, as we were like heading home, oh, guess who was at Stone Pony for a private but not really private event because anyone can just show up? Bruce, literally right next door. And even at like the See Here Now Festival, which great music festival that I loved going to, so I left Social Distortion set a little early to go make my way to see Jack Johnson and get a good spot with my wife. Suddenly, I hear a gravelly voice from like the opposite end of the beach. Couldn't really see anything and could barely hear anything. I'm like, wait, is that Bruce on stage with Social Distortion? Like literally every time I keep missing him. So I especially don't want him to retire until at least I get one chance to see him in Asbury Park in some way. But even just besides that, like he is such a workhorse and always just loving to perform, and to finally see him be like, you know what, the time's come for me to say goodbye, that's going to be rough, because he's the kind of musician that you just don't ever think would do that, would want to retire.
He's also a New Jersey staple, just in case you didn't know.
So I mean, it was funny. A friend of mine asked, like, so you really love Bruce Springsteen? I'm like, I'm not like a fanatic like some people, but I grew up knowing that there is a God and his name is Bruce Springsteen. It's just a fact. And
I'm gonna throw this jab out there. He's not a turncoat on Jersey like Bon Jovi.
No, exactly. He's the real deal. So that's my number 2. Third one, again, kind of similar reasons, and I'm not even necessarily like a huge diehard fan, but I do love this band because they're a reliable band. They don't necessarily reinvent the wheel with every album. You kind of know what you're getting with this band, and that's what makes them so special. Clutch. They are. Don't you give me that look? I could give you that. I could give you that same look for Seven Dust. Anyway,
did.
Yeah, you're right. I did. So that's fair. They're just a fun band. I mean, I love their records, and it's also one of those kind of bands that they might not necessarily be huge power, mainstream band ever, but they have such a large following and a loyal following that they could last for the foreseeable future. And the day when they decide to kind of call it quits, it's going to be sad, I have personal, memories of just seeing them live or even just hearing their records and just knowing that they could do this for as long as they want and still be happy. But then for the day for them to decide, now we're done, it's going to be a sad one. So to recap, Matt, you have Metallica, Dave Grohl, and Sevendust.
Yes.
I, Zack, in case you forgot.
Not Frank.
Not Frank. Because I like to be frank.
You do.
I have Alice Cooper, Bruce Springsteen, and Clutch. Matthew, I'm going to make a proposal.
Here we go.
For a final three.
Here we go.
Metallica.
Yep.
Dave Grohl.
Yep.
Bruce Springsteen. I'm not giving you Sevendust.
I'm just more trying to wonder why Bruce over Alice Cooper.
I'm just going to... Because I recognize that for me, Alice Cooper's a little bit more personal. Because that one I really like. That one will be extremely emotional for me.
Then why wouldn't it be on the list instead of Bruce?
It's on because I'm trying to be fair. Because I figured you would like Bruce better, or you'd be more inclined to agree to Bruce. I'm all about agreeing here. Listen, before we go to war, I try to make peace.
I understand. Like I said, if this is a personal list, why the fuck am I trying to talk you into something?
Listen, because I would be happy to see Bruce in there.
Okay.
Because I would also get emotional when Bruce calls it quits.
Which one would you be more emotional about?
I'll be more emotional about Alice Cooper, but I will still be very much crying when Bruce calls it quits. As I can already see, I can sense that you would agree too that it'll be a sad day when Bruce calls it quits.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
It's coming.
No, it's not.
Sooner than
they're gonna wheel him out on the
sooner
on the
than
stage.
Metallica and Dave Grohl. So hold on, I will say the reason why I'm automatically giving you Dave Grohl and Metallica because I can't argue against that. No, I think it'd be the end of the world when Dave Grohl calls it quits because that would just be a travesty. Mm-hmm. But with Metallica, when they call it quits, economies will rupture. Like literally, they make so much money for rock music. Not metal, rock music.
Doesn't matter what you call it.
Them calling it quits will have fiscal ramifications for the music industry.
Well, not only that, but now
forget about I love Metallica too, one of my favorite bands, but even forget that. Like they literally would destroy companies.
Right. Well, now also they're doing their philanthropy work for All Within My Hands, and they're raising money for all of these food banks in around the country, and it's just a lot that's going to be impacting those guys.
I would never want them to retire. Forget my own personal reasons. They need to, for the better good of society, they need to stay together.
Yes. If they made it through some kind of monster, insane anger.
If they can make it through that, they can survive anything.
Yes, pretty much.
That's true. All right, so do we agree on the final three? Metallica, Dave Grohl, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is anticlimactic, but yeah, here we are.
Sometimes it's nice to be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you have it. Final three, Metallica, Dave Grohl, Bruce Springsteen. Those are artists that we hope never retire. Do you agree with that list? Which artists do you never want to see retire? Which artists, when the day comes, will you be crying in a corner going, why? No, stay with us. Let us know on Facebook.
I'm waiting for the obligatory Rolling Stones comment.
Well, you know what? Sorry. Yeah, before we sign off, which artist do you think it is time to call it quits? Not to end on such a negative note, because when we were even discussing this episode, we were torn between whether we wanted to do one about artists, which artists we want to retire or which artists we don't want to retire. Real quick, which artists do you think it's time for them to be all right, enough already?
I would say it's actually, I don't think it's the Stones, but I'm waiting for that Stones comment. But honestly, I think it's time that Ozzy call it quits.
That one hurts, but it's true. And we should say, because we saw him last year live, and he was great.
He was.
But it's not going to get better from here.
Right. It's visually disturbing to watch him, because it's is he going to fall? Is he going to hurt himself? Is he all the things that you think about your grandparents when they get older in age? you kind of feel for Ozzy when he's on stage because all of the health issues that he's had, it's time.
It's gotten to the point where you're just cheering the fact that he's on stage.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, you should leave now before it gets worse. It hurts to say that, but yeah, I agree with that. I also, and it's funny, before everyone goes like, well, yeah, he's retired, there are no more tours. I'm like, but
that's not retiring.
He even keeps saying like, oh, I'm going to play some shows still, but like, even though we all kind of in the back of our heads also know, it's like, no, if he's not going to do tours, he's probably not going to do one-offs either. I would also argue, and this is another band that is supposedly in a long goodbye farewell tour, but it doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon. Deep Purple.
Ugh.
I'm sorry, but that when we saw them with Judas Priest, it just felt.
You know, that's like one of your favorite albums from when you were a kid that you listen to now. Like, why the hell did I ever listen to that?
It hasn't aged well.
It hasn't, not at all.
Not at all. And I'm not even saying I'm a huge Deep Purple fan, but I was actually kind of looking forward to it because, like, you know,
can you sit down so I can see?
We were there at the show at PNC in Homedale, New Jersey, and we got told by people sitting behind us to sit down at a rock concert. That's sad. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not saying, like, I get it. If, like, you know, you have conditions where you have to sit, but this was literally like, we looked behind us. It wasn't like one person who couldn't see because they had like a leg injury or like health issues.
No, you were standing for Judas Priest.
They were standing for Judas Priest.
And now you sit down for Deep Purple and you tell everybody else to sit down.
And you look around. It wasn't even like one person who just couldn't see. It was like, no. Almost everyone was sitting behind us because they just didn't feel like standing.
Because it's Deep Purple and you're in for a long ride.
Like, that's sad. So I would say Deep Purple. But again, that was on a sad note. The artists that we never want to retire, though, Bruce Springsteen, Metallica, Dave Grohl. Please, guys, stick around as long as you can. Because we know that Metallica's listening to this, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's on Google Alerts, so it pops up in their email boxes. But now, who do you think needs to stay on the road? Who do you hope never retires? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even YouTube, at Epic Footnote. We want to hear your picks. We also want to hear if you agree with our picks or who you just think maybe needs to retire as well. Let's get the conversation to be a little diverse. Let us know, and thanks so much for listening, and we hope that you tune in next time.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.